What's going on, gamers? It is the crew here for episode 32 of XP Share. What's going on, gentlemen?
What up?
What's poppin'?
How y'all doing?
Hanging in there.
Feeling good after a win. Let's go.
Sure.
We the
Getting
best.
them dubs.
Sure. Let's
There's
see
Started
one
a
how
little
thing-
rocky. Started a little rocky, but we made it out. You know what I'm saying? Late game, we did what we were supposed to do.
Hey,
You know?
you know what, CJ? I want to hear it. You were the assist king, all right? And I don't care what anybody says.
I
Alright,
pressed 3 buttons that entire game. I pressed
Hey.
move forward, I pressed bomb, and I pressed
CJ?
respawn.
If you look at that stat spread, I literally did nothing.
I didn't do anything either. I had no
Yeah,
influence.
no,
on it.
not according to that stat spread.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, listen, my first game on Deadlock was atrocious. Like, I'm pretty sure J Dogs is probably the same. Like, first
Dude,
day playing, I was like,
we-
I was like, I don't know, this game might be too sweaty for me.
Everybody hated day one. Everybody.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've never been a MOBA player, and I don't think that's gonna change.
Hey, and that's fair.
I mean, even
These
I kinda
aggressive
use-
takes, CJ. I don't know if I like this energy today. What's going on here, bud? What's going on here?
What the fuck did I do to you?
This energy. I just don't know.
You know what?
Listen,
I bring you onto my boat. Okay, I get your chest of fortune. I
No way.
bring you in so you can sink a
No
sloop.
way.
And now look at this guy. He sinks one fucking sloop, and now look at him. Oh, big for a sloop. Oh, I'm too good for the court of Tortuga now.
I'm not gonna lie. I did not know he was gonna go there.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. I'll shut up now. I'll
Damn.
I'll leave it alone.
Set up one 200k fucking haul, and now he thinks he's the biggest fucking G around.
Which we almost lost, by the way. We almost lost.
We almost
They-
did. I still feel
they
a
got
little
their-
dirty about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, they were gamers. You know, they had the respect to come back and get those hands.
Bro, there's
So,
nothing to feel dirty about. They tried to respawn us.
That's
Honest.
part of the thing is like I respect the comeback because that's the thing you'll get a lot of the time is like you think them the fact that they want to come back and try it. If we were not time limited, I would have said fuck it, we do or die. But we had two
Yeah.
people that had to dip, and that's. But that doesn't mean I feel good
Nah.
about it. And
No, I'm sweaty. I wanted to beeline out of there.
honestly, that's the thing is, for your first time playing Quang, how fucking good you were and how well adapted you were to that fight, and like dealing with hand-to-hand combat for a day one player, that was very well done.
I am
Oh,
a
yeah.
gamer with a capital G.
Hell yeah! I mean, for those who lack context and don't understand, go check out our recent side quest from early this week. We played a little Sea of Thieves. It was a lot of fun.
Mm.
Oh,
was a lot of
no,
fun.
they
I
can't.
gotta
They have to
agree.
wait now. They have to
Oh, they
wait
gotta
till the
wait.
episode
Oh.
comes out. You had to
Oh,
be there.
shit.
We're paywalling them. We're paywalling them already.
Paywall.
Damn.
Oh no, we're
Yeah.
not paywalling anybody. You just had to be there. If you weren't there, you got to catch the VOD when it comes out. When's it gonna come out? I don't know.
Get fucked.
No, but it was fun. It's a good time. Side quest every other Wednesday. We go around do some dumb shit, kind of like we just did
Mhm.
TBH.
Yeah.
Because we can't DJ anymore. Apparently,
We got side quests
Not
and
yet.
we got the pre-podcast fetch quest. So
yeah, it's a little fetch quest before the main. Couple announcements real quick before we start in. Of course, again, we went through 2 multiverse tournaments since the last podcast. Misty C taking the one on the 23rd. Mott's, who apparently I spelled his name correctly on the sheet. What the fuck? Where's a second O come from? I don't know. Won first place for the first time on the 30th. Actually, both new champions. So congrats to them. we will be skipping this next Friday weekly, and so we can basically put all our time in on Saturday for the maybe monthly collab at this point. We'll see how it goes. See how much how much comes out of it, who shows up, and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Today I played against some guys that Roland for me introduced me to. They play multiverses. One of them was a sweaty Garnet, which you don't see too often.
Oh god.
But yeah, I'm sending them the link to the tournament because I think they should enter. Pretty good, really good players. It'll be cool to see them hop in that bad boy.
We haven't seen a Garnet since I did like the early couple of tournaments. I know there was a couple in there, so
Yeah.
I'll be down.
Shoutouts to Juice for casting. First time casting 2 weeks ago. Second time casting last week. Doing a great job.
Thank you.
On the
It's
come
fine.
up,
That
on the come
was
up.
a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
No, I'm definitely enjoying it more than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool, man. It's a fun time.
So to put you on the spot, who did you enjoy casting with more?
Oh my.
Myself.
Myself.
I plead the
Good-
fifth.
Good save. Good save. Good save.
Well,
Well,
this
what?
is kind of
Hell
interesting because
no.
obviously me and Quang are very different casters when it comes to those tournaments. Because Quang is very technical and analytical, and I barely fucking understand the game. So I'm sort of, I'm the eyes of like the casual viewers in the Twitch channel and stuff like that for who don't understand all the technical lingo, and I'm just saying what I see.
That's
And
kind
yeah,
of where all
and
the
then-
color casting comes from, though.
yeah.
Well, one of you
Color
get.
casting. What does that mean technically?
You are adding color to the lines that the play-by-play is making.
Yeah.
So the
So
play-by-play is the matter of fact what is happening. You need to throw some splash of color in there to make it interesting.
Mm.
yeah, pretty much.
So for the wrestling fans who may be out there, I'm the Pat McAfee of crack media. Right.
I like that.
Well, one of you guys is gonna have to roll a dice or flip a coin on who's casting with nitrate on Saturday.
Are we doing a full thing? Because how many people are signed up right now?
Right now there's already 28, I think, something like that. I mean, I would expect more with a $200 prize pool for people who are unaware. Pool, POOL. That means multiple sections of prizes.
We do. I mean, we do typically get like towards the end of the week, people then sort of sign on. And like Wednesday is when I typically see like the numbers really spike.
Yeah,
That is generally when people like, because people don't want to commit, don't want to sign up to something that they don't know they can commit to.
I think the other thing is like you don't necessarily know what your Saturday plans are until you sort of get in there, do you? So
well, it's also going to be a little. We're either going to see not as many people as expected, or we're going to have a lot of multi-tournament because Frost Esports moved their doubles on Saturdays, literally last week. So that would have been nice to
Okay.
know.
It's going to
Well,
be interesting.
Figure it out as we go.
no, for sure.
That's all you
The
can
juicy,
really
the
do.
juicy part of it all.
But yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be cool. But
It'll be fine.
I am putting my foot down on multi-turning. If you hold up the bracket, I'm sorry, you're gone. Like I don't know what to tell you. It's
Yeah.
Putting your foot, yeah, you got to put your foot down. Good. People have lives they need to get to.
Yeah, I
Of
mean,
course,
if
of course
I
it's for
could
the viewers too, right?
if I could be in bed before 7 a.m., I would appreciate it.
appreciate it. Please.
Poor CJ.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it.
He says to himself every night.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so had some recent decent games come out. Unfortunately, haven't been able to play a lot of them. Is Outlaws an exclusive right now? Did I see that correctly?
Oh, that sounds right.
Yeah, I mean, so Outlaws is a fucking weird one, right? Outlaws is a really weird one. Because like it is available on all platforms, but it is only available on all platforms through Ubisoft. Like
Oh,
you can get it on PS5 and Xbox and PC, but obviously the Xbox or Microsoft already have a deal with Ubisoft, to have a load of games on Game Pass, but those games on Game Pass technically go through the Ubisoft launcher. I don't think Outlaws is actually on the Game Pass. I'm happy to be corrected on that. I'm not sure how it is on PlayStation because I know the two reviews that I have seen were both reviews done on PlayStation, but the actual purchasing of the game was done through Ubisoft, as far as I'm aware. Again, I could be wrong there, and if I am wrong, I apologize, and I'm more than happy to be corrected. But I think
That
played on
makes
any
sense.
platform, purchased directly from Ubisoft instead of through the PSN store, which is
that's
you know
Makes
interesting.
sense, I guess.
that feels like the direction we're going with a lot of games. Is like that's a lot of bigger developers are trying to circumnavigate the market of like Steam and the store pages and stuff like that. Obviously, Epic's been doing it with their games for a long while. But we've had Ubisoft now got their own stuff. EA have had their own stuff for a while. So it's interesting. It's a big change. I still don't really know how I feel about it because Ubisoft is still kind of jaded in my eyes.
Not wrong.
They are not going the right direction with
Mm.
gamers. That's for damn sure. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
So you
like
feel like it's
torn
going
on it.
more corporate?
No, dude. Have you not heard like half their shit? They literally just want to gouge. Like they're probably the leading component right now for games should cost more money, right? Like
That is the take.
yeah.
So like instead of the $59.99, they should be $70
Oh
instead.
no. They're like saying they should be like $100 a game.
Oh,
Yeah. No.
oh,
And you remember my little tidbit last week that I left you guys on? Basically
Mm.
saying, fuck what you gamers want. We're gonna like basically not make whatever we want and however we want, but basically they're just saying
yeah.
like fuck the gamers. This is a business market for us and you guys are just consumers. Like, okay, so we stop consuming? Like I don't know how
Yeah.
you think you're gonna win here.
Yeah, yeah. And here's the thing, right? Because obviously the big thing is with Outlaws specifically is the season pass. Now the thing with the season pass with a single player game, the reason season passes worked back in the day was you get the game because I remember when there was a time when you used to buy a game and you used to get the game when you bought it. Apparently that's gone. But what it used to be is obviously you can buy the game, but if you get the season pass, any and all DLC that would be released for the game, you could buy it without the season pass, but it would be cheap. The season pass was more money for the company in the short term, but ultimately that season pass would be cheaper than the game plus all the DLC. That was the deal that people were saying. But if you got the season pass, you got everything. The benefit of not getting it is you could kind of pick and choose which bits of DLC you did and didn't want. So there was a take for either side. Now, these days, you don't get that because you can buy Outlaws or you can buy the premium with the season pass and stuff like that but they've not given us any pricing as to how expensive is this shit going to be without the season pass. Do we have to get the season pass to get it all anyway? Is it impossible to just get individual shit, or is it all under this this big group thing? I don't know how the system works. I've not bought the game myself, but I've been trying to do my research on it, and from what I'm getting from that research is no one truly knows yet because the game's only been out for a few days and there's no real way of telling this early on what that's going to entail.
Yeah.
So it feels very aggressive with the monetization these days, and I don't know how I feel about it.
No, and again, Ubisoft is the worst right now, and honestly, I wouldn't put it past them to sell this, like, get on this hype train of selling a season pass for quote unquote future DLC that may or may not even come out.
Yeah.
So EA is no longer the king of this.
No, EA is the
King
king
of
of
this shit sandwich?
microtransactions.
Yeah.
No. No.
I see what you mean. Okay,
There's like the difference is that
monetization
Ubisoft,
versus microtransactions.
yeah, or is the way that they're both bad, right? Let's be very clear. It's not we're not even talking about like lesser of two evils. Both are bad. Microtransactions are predatory in nature because they make you feel like you can buy a lot of stuff for very little money, and it preys on the fact that it's a nickel in, right? That's
Yep.
until you spend $100. Versus Ubisoft basically paywalling content that doesn't exist.
Mhm.
And even paywalling content that's already in the base game, right?
That should be in the base game, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
again, I'm pretty sure there's an entire quest line that's in the game. It's there, and you have like the prompt to go and start it. But then when you go and start it, you can't access it because you don't have the fucking you didn't get the premium version or you didn't get the season pass or whatever. So like
Yeah.
they're active, you know, when you buy Outlaws, just the game, the standard edition, you're not even getting the entire package that you now own, which I think is bullshit. If you want to make me pay $150 for DLC, I'm not going to do it, but that's your marketing prerogative, that's your capitalist, whatever you want to do. But I bought Outlaws, it's in the files, it's under my name now, give it to me.
Well, that's the other thing Ubisoft is saying is you don't technically own their games anymore.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, that's the other thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They can pull the plug whenever.
Yep.
That's pretty wild, man. And it's a bold move, but at the same time, I mean, let's be honest, like people are still gonna keep buying these games, and it's the worst. It's the worst to admit this. I mean, as much as I would love to hear people, gamers take a stand and say no more, I can already think of at least 100,000. They're like, wait, what's going on? As they're literally hitting the buy button, like who cares?
Yeah, there
You
are
know,
going to be
it's-
people that buy this game because it has Star Wars on the cover.
That's another big thing, yeah, is that the reason why one of the big reasons that Ubisoft can be like so bold about doing this bullshit is because it's Star Wars, is because
Well,
the fans are gonna buy it no matter what.
yeah, and then that's the
They
other
can
thing
take
is
advantage.
gamers aren't going to do anything about it.
Nope.
Everybody's fucking addicted. It's a drug at this point. Nobody's going to stop. Nobody's going to boycott shit. There's always going to be this little fucking tiny section of people who are on the boycott, but 99% of everybody else is going to say, fuck you, I'm going to buy it anyways. So,
Yep.
as much as we hate this, like these initiatives that keep coming up and these companies trying to do whatever the fuck they want, they're just going to roll over everybody because nobody's going to fucking put their foot down because it's a fucking addiction.
Yep. That's the best way to put it.
Is
Yeah.
Outlaws even good?
I don't.
I've
I
heard-
haven't
I've heard
played it yet.
mixed reviews about the
That's
actual game.
That's the thing, right? is from what I've seen, and obviously I've not played it hands on, but I've watched. I've probably watched about 30 hours of footage of this game through YouTube, through unedited live streams, through through just like gameplay walkthroughs, whatever. I Without buying the game, I've consumed enough of the game in order to complete a playthrough, from what I understand, because I think a playthrough is about 20 hours. So,
That's it?
from what I get, there are some genuinely very good systems in that game. Like, there's a reputation system that is actually done pretty well and is rather dynamic. The worlds that they built and the environment is pretty well designed. However, the thing I'm constantly hearing is the moment to moment gameplay, the shooting, the stealth, the traversal with the speeder, all that stuff is, there are certainly moments within it, but it is rigid and it is, sort of one note and it's repetitive, and a lot of the missions are quite samey. You've got your cinematic spectacles, but apparently, like, a good 40% of the missions are just sort of your typical fetch quests, or go to A to B and kill the guy and do the thing and take the camp and go home and get the point to get the clothing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right. So it's a game with very good moments and very jaw-dropping moments, but the moment-to-moment gameplay, what you're going to be sinking the majority of your time into, is rigid and repetitive and the same shit we've been getting for the last 5 years. So why the
Yeah.
fuck is it giving 7 out of 10s? Because that doesn't say 7 out of 10 to me. That says 5 out of 10. A mediocre game. And like, I don't understand these days these different ratings that people give, because the ratings mean jack shit anymore.
Well, that because it's also IGN, and I'm pretty sure they get paid for half of their fucking reviews.
Yeah, the
That
thing
I
is
wouldn't doubt it.
the thing is it's not even just IGN. Like, a lot of independent people are also giving this a 7 out of 10, and they're all describing it as repetitive and mediocre with some very good moments. And if you like Star Wars, you'll be into it. So, and I'm like, for me, if I hear 7 out of 10, I'm like, there's a few issues with it. There's a couple issues here and there, but the majority of the game's pretty fucking good. In my mind, a 7 out of 10 is like, go out and buy this thing. A 6 out of 10 is, you're probably going to enjoy it, but you might not finish it, and then you get to 5-4, where it's like, okay, that, it's a decent game, but here's that, this, that, the other. Because I think there's maybe a handful of games out there that are 10 out of 10. So I hate this arbitrary rating system that everyone uses. I much prefer the Steam way of doing things, which I know is basic, but is it good or is it bad? And then you kind of have that middle ground, you know. Whereas just these number ratings, I think there's nothing to them anymore.
I mean, there never really wasn't. To be very clear here, I don't think there's anything ever really with number ratings, because it's one, you're talking about like one individual, right, who has an opinion. It might be a bad opinion, but it's an opinion. And whether or not they're getting like paid to put in a number, like 90% of the space does, right? It's not, yeah, like, it's hard to go to like IGN and look for a legitimate review, because for a lot of these things too, you're not gonna know until it's hard to know if you're gonna like a game. It's really easy to tell if you won't like a game. Um Based on just like what you see in like gameplay and stuff like that, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's like theming or so I don't know. The number system always felt like weird too, because I don't know if this is true where you guys are or how you guys grew up, but it always felt like even on a 10-point scale, it was never a 10, it was always a 5-point scale. Like the worst you can give anything is a 5 out of 10. And that means like do not recommend, don't
Yeah.
go, like,
Yeah,
or like and then at 7's like this is all right,
Mhm.
when realistically you won't want to use the full 10 points.
I think the thing that gets me is, like, in a lot of these reviews, they're saying, give it a month, wait for a couple patches to come out, and then buy it. But it's a 7 out of 10. Don't buy it yet, but it is a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I don't, I mean, I'm still, I'm very upset at the way that games come out, and I kind of alluded to this last a couple weeks ago, last episode. But like, man, I want a finished game when I fucking buy the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like.
I don't need patches. I would rather just have you finish the game and make me wait an extra month or two.
And
Well,
then
it's 'cause-
that's the
fair
other
enough.
thing is nobody's gonna the
That's
gamers
something-
aren't gonna fucking try to do that because they're just gonna consume left and right. Oh, there's a day one patch. Who cares? It's normalized now. Like it's normalized because everybody and their mother made it normalized.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, because you used to not be able to do that, with the PS2 and the PS3. You bought the game, and if it was bugged, it was bugged. You can't patch that shit. That
Yeah,
was
you'd have to buy a different copy that re-released.
yeah.
And usually the bug is something that like, I mean, the big difference is that a lot of the time nowadays too, those bugs are like, oh yeah, no, we knew about it, but we wanted to release the game on time. That's why there's a day one patch.
Yep.
That's why we are able to patch it so quickly. It's not like, oh, we have to like dig and figure out what's going on. They knew what was happening. That's the only way you
Yep.
get patches out that quickly.
mhm.
This is why, like, even I'm saying, like, sort of the GameCube, the PS1, the PS2, like, that was the peak of the video game sort of space. Because when you bought a game, you owned it, and then if the game was because people knew, hey, when we release this game, we can't change it. They released it in a way that they wanted. Because now, and we're all victims of it. We all fucking buy shit on Steam and we buy it on Epic and we buy the Game Pass and whatever, and that we're no better. But here's the thing: the second Steam servers go down, all your games are fucking gone. You never owned any of them. They're all gone. Whereas my PS2 copy of the fucking Spyro games that I've got in the attic somewhere, and the PS2 that runs it on, all I've got to do is find somewhere I can plug those in. Worst case scenario, you can get someone to make you custom plugs and whatever and adapters, and I just plug it in, and it still works to this day.
I go back and forth about that. If we're talking about all the
I'm not
games
playing
that
Spyro. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah,
get it
but
and all
it's
that,
the
but like,
example of I own that. I can play that whenever I want.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Sure.
I'm not in a position where I can just have that lost and taken away from me because the infidelity of the online system could one day get swiped from underneath.
Let me
Ubisoft decide to shut down their servers. I no longer own Star Wars Outlaws, a game I paid $100
Sure.
for.
I mean, let's just the only reason why I say that, like, I get the argument about wanting physical things. I think there's just too much content nowadays. I got rid of 300 CDs in a box very recently for a couple $100. Like I sold it to a hobby shop of just a bunch of PS1 and PS2 games. Because one, I was never going to play them again, or if I am going to play them, I would use very legal emulators and have copies that I owned of the ROMs to actually play the game on my PC. And just because it's more convenient, it's just I would not have the space. Even with like Steam, I have 160 Steam games ish. I don't have, even if they're all like cartridge, like small cartridges, I don't have that room anywhere.
Yeah.
To like just store it, unless it's just gonna be a box somewhere where I have to dig through it. It's so much easier to be like, you know what I miss playing? I miss
What's that?
playing fucking just to like pull out a game that I'm sure that we've all played. I miss playing Hollow Knight, right? I haven't played Hollow Knight in like a year. Let me just download it real quick. And just play it and then be like, all right, cool. And then instead of being like, man, like if you wanted to play Spyro, great game. You'd have to go find the disc, find the console, because it's probably not set up that way. And so I've kind of heavily leaned into like the digital stuff as of late. I get why people don't like it,
Well, that's
But I'm
the
also
thing. It's like the trade off for convenience, right?
yeah.
Which is comes down to like the oldest fucking analogy in the book. Do you pay for do you like you have two sides of the scale? You got freedom and you got security.
I'm also very confident that if Steam ever shut down, every game on Steam would be torrentable. So I'm
Oh
one
yeah,
way or another.
somebody would make it happen.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like the power is there. There's a lot of fucking smart ass people that can do that shit. It's just we're 99% of us are still sitting here just being consumers complaining about the dumb shit that the industry is doing.
Yeah. So here's the question: is like,
Sure.
all right, what can be done about this?
Hmm.
You know, and I guess to play devil's advocate, is there a good side to what Ubisoft is trying to do? Is there?
I think so. I kind of leaned into this where I do agree that the fact that games have been like $60 forever was kind of weird. Um,
But that's not so on the other
So,
aspect of
yeah.
that is you're nowadays you're paying $60 for an unfinished game. That's pretty
Yeah.
much what it's starting to come down to. And
Yeah.
sure,
Fair
I
point.
get it. Inflation and shit. You gotta pay. You gotta pay your people more. You gotta look for investors for your game more. Blah blah blah. People have to get all this shit. But if you want us to pay more for games and you can't even put out a full game at $60, why the fuck would we pay $100 for it?
Yeah. That's where I'm like, yeah, no, I agree. I don't agree with like it being $100. I mean, like Nintendo games have standardized up to $70, I think, recently. And those are usually finished games. And I think that the hard part is that it's so much more than what the standard was.
Well,
That one, it's like no time to adjust, right? As the consumer, as like, because you got to think of like the whole market, because you're just keeping so many people.
yeah,
And the
that's
worst
it.
part
That's it.
about it.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No,
Oh,
keep
I was
going.
just
Keep
gonna say
going.
the worst part about it is that we don't get a full fucking game. We don't get a finished game. There are gonna be bugs. They're gonna be, and people are just expecting that. So I don't know. I don't
Well,
get
yeah,
that.
so it's just like it's like a I don't know, dude. I at this point, like I feel like I should have been like a philosopher or some shit with like society crap because there's just so many fucking parallels just within the like different not just the game industry but different like working industries that just draw parallels to how society is going as a whole.
Yeah.
And it's just like again going back to it, these game developers are trying to push these obscene stipulations and saying game development is king. You guys as consumers can basically suck our dick and fucking just take it because we're making the product. But you're trying to establish a new tier of a stipulation, ergo, if prices of games go up, but you're not increasing the quality. You're not
Yeah.
only not increasing the quality, you're downgrading the quality because we're not getting fucking finished games. So you want more money, but you want to do less fucking work, and you expect us to just take that?
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
as well
So
we
what do we do?
we're viewing bugs differently these days as how we would have 10, 15 years ago, right? If you found a few bugs in a game 10, 15 years ago, it was like, okay, that's a little bit annoying, but often they weren't necessarily game breaking. If they were game breaking, developers would often like release a thing saying how to like how you could circumvent it. And also, it was the understanding that like these guys are doing the best they can. You can't necessarily make a perfect game, but we're at the point these days where people are releasing games that are riddled with bugs just to hit a release date, and then people are releasing mods on the Steam Workshop of an unofficial patch, and we're effectively having to go in and fix the game ourselves because no one else can be bothered to do it. I think you hit the nail on the head earlier, Justin. It's like we've gone too far. There's nothing we can do to fix it because the pendulum has already swung too far.
Oh yeah.
People are gonna buy games that have Star Wars in it because it's Star Wars. People are
Yeah.
gonna buy the next Dark Souls game or the next From Software game because it's from Software, regardless of if it's good. People are gonna buy whatever the fuck they want on the Nintendo store because Nintendo made it. We're trying to bail water out of this ship when the Titanic has already hit the iceberg 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how long people have been saying Call of Duty is dead?
Call of Duty
Is
is
it act like
Since like Black Ops 2.
like has like, they've been saying oh COD is dead. Oh COD is dead. And then every year you look like what's the top selling console game? Oh, Call of Duty.
Yep.
Next year. Oh, Call of Duty. Year after that. Oh, it's still Call. The game's not dying. Like
Yeah.
it's just not happening.
It's-
Even if like they release a string of bad games, people are still buying them. And they're online playing multiplayer, having fun, playing with their friends. They're not seeing the things that the purists see in Call of Duty. They're not seeing that. All they see is I have guns, I have the grenades, and I want to shoot them. Let's go. So it's just some of it's just really not going to change, right? I mean, I think that if you have to have your own moral compass to say I'm going to stop supporting these games, then so be it. You do so. I'm proud of you. But yeah, man. I mean, like you said, CJ, Justin hit on the head. The pendulum has swung,
Yep.
and we're just I don't know. Maybe this is going to become like the dark era for gaming.
Well,
Good,
so
good
that
become that.
also brings up a whole another kind of fucking throwing the axe on the fucking headstone is you got your absolute casual gamers, 9 to 5 workers, barely get enough gaming time as is, just come home and fucking game. And then you got your fucking hardcore gamers, 12 plus hours a fucking day. And then you got that whole debacle right there is like they already don't agree with each other. So how is the whole entire gaming community, going to come together against the industry when they basically can't even agree with each other?
The only
Again,
way we're
societal parallels.
Yeah.
Just
I can answer that question. They're not watching YouTube videos. The 9 to 5ers, like my brother who plays Call of Duty all the fucking time. He doesn't know who Drifter is. He doesn't know. He barely even knows who Scump is. They're not watching this content to know that these things are taking place or have taken place.
that's
Therefore,
another
they
thing.
have-
They're not
like there's no they're not in the battle.
that's another thing.
They're not about this.
They're not getting the content that a lot of us are fed nowadays that we talked about last week is 90% negativity.
90%.
They're not getting spoon fed that. They don't have the same opinions. Gamers aren't collaborating. Industry's going to do whatever the fuck they want. It's that simple.
The only way I can see this, and you know what? I feel like we've been a little unfair because if we're gonna be realistic about this,
Guys,
game
it's right
developers
here. Right here.
want to make good games. There are very few game developers out there that want to make shit. So I've done it as well, but like I feel like the developers aren't necessarily the ones at fault. It is the publishers, it is the producers, it is the people at the top, it is the bottom line.
Of course.
So the only way this is going to change, and you know what? We've actually credit where it's due. We saw it with the writers' strikes. The only way this is going to get fixed is if the developers say fuck it if you keep doing this, we're just not gonna make games anymore, and they're gonna cut us off from the nicotine, and then we're gonna kick up a fuss, and then the world's on fire, and then maybe Mr. EA and Mr. Ubisoft are gonna start listening.
I
The
mean,
issue is
oh.
they're being held at gunpoint because they can't afford to live unless they make the next Call of Duty.
Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of indie developers have kind of come out of the woodwork for similar reasons.
yeah.
Um,
I mean,
in our
I was gonna
notes,
say.
yeah, in our notes, the video I told you guys to take a look at kind of goes into that because the guy's talking about the game that they're making, but at the same time he's also kind of explaining like, let me tell you what we're not gonna do in this game, and he just starts going through the laundry list of things that we hate, for that a lot of these companies are currently doing,
Able to have a much more
and so
positive
as I'm
effect.
watching, I'm kind of like, all right, like fuck yeah, bro, and he just straight up said like, as a developer, we're not giving you guys any of that like industry bullshit fluff. This is the game. You play it. Hopefully you like it. If you don't, well, shit, don't play it. But it's yeah, you're right. I mean, it's the developers are gonna have to be the ones to say, all right, I'm stepping away. You guys, good luck to this company. I'm gonna go start my own thing and do it the way that it's supposed to be done, and do it with love. Gotta do it with love.
Bang, were you trying to say something?
I was just gonna say basically the same thing. Where I remember a time when the indie developer and like Valve, that whole relationship was supposed to. We're all hoping for it to shake up the gaming atmosphere. Now that a bunch of people were just like starting small studios to release games, and Steam makes it really easy to release games. Um,
Well, I think there's I keep forgetting his name, but there's this one guy who's basically I don't want to exactly say spearheading, but helping like build a foundation around like indie developers funding themselves essentially,
yeah.
which I think is pretty fucking amazing. Which was something I wanted to do with Cracked Media, honestly, but I mean, we're not even.
Oh,
Sorry, we're
you're
not
talking
even close to
about
that.
off-brand gaming with Thor and Ludwig.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Pirate Software and
Pirate Software.
Ludwig.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking yeah. That's the whole thing, and that whole studio and the greater company is a co-op, so all the employees own an equal share of the company. That way, everyone's invested equally. It's a cool
It's pretty fire.
but yeah, I mean, the hard part is that it's gonna be really hard to kick out the major companies like Ubisoft and EA,
Oh yeah.
just because they have money to burn. That's the hard part is that they have money to wait for something to hit. With a lot of the indie developers, it's really hard to, if you don't have like something constantly generating revenue, like
Well, I think
or you
that's.
don't have like a Hollow Knight or Celeste to like really just
I think that whole aspect of um the whole kind of aspect of indie games giving us a kind of like time loop for a sense to where they're going back to I'm just putting like a year out there going back to like 2000s 2015 like guys, this is where we should have been progressing from. We are making full games as an indie developer, and here is the EA Ubisoft fucking again the parallels in society, technology and people. Ubisoft and indie developers, they're up here with a bunch of fucking bugs high above everybody else, fucking trying to expand the market when consumers aren't even catching up. And then here's the indie developers being like, no, this is a level you should be at right now. Like this is how you finish a game. This is how you get consumers. This is how you don't fuck your consumers. And it's just like I don't know. It's a beautiful kind of separate aspect.
I kind of like
Yeah.
where the indie scene is heading towards, and I hope that games in general kind of head towards this direction where it's kind of like book publishing
I
because like
mean,
anyone
look
can
at
write a book.
BattleBit, guys. Like
Yeah, Hobbit Theater, the fucking Newgrounds bullshit. Yeah,
the
but
fucking
just
BattleBit was amazing.
Yeah. It's true.
It's it just sucks because the gaming industry is too big to fail. Like it can't
well,
fail at this
I
point.
think what the I mean, where it's gonna fail is the like we said before is where the workers are, right? And I do see this trend of instead of going to a big publisher like EA or Ubisoft, like I said, with Steam really helps this a lot. But being able to publish your own game and just make a game and put it out there and talk about it enough. Itch.io is another place that people do a lot of that to start like generating hype. You get put up demos for games, and that way people can like see the unfinished product, just kind of test things out. You can release those for free.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of some games that came out from
Honestly, if
that,
my
but
prediction is if things keep going the way they do, and I don't think I have an accurate timeline for this, but I want to say within the next 7 to 10 years, there's gonna be a huge fucking there's the gap is going to start filling in the
yeah,
next like maybe not more like 7 to 15. The gap's going to start filling, and the EAs and Ubisofts are going to come down, indies are going to come up, and the whole the industry as a whole is going to seem like it's losing a lot of money, but in reality it's finally getting to the even fluctuation.
The thing
I mean
is,
that was.
Sure.
Oh, I was gonna say that was the really big reason why everyone was super excited for Black Myth Wukong, right? Because theoretically we're introducing more players. Black Myth Wukong coming from a fully Chinese studio, Chinese publisher, Chinese money going into it. So it's like it just when you get these really polished games from not the major players, every time it happens, which is happening more and more, it's kind of exciting because you can feel the shift. It just happens to be a very slow shift.
Mm-hmm.
the thing is,
Hmm.
I feel like the shift is going to be far too slower than it needs to be because here's the thing that all these indie companies creating these games are incredible. I think my top five great favorite games of all time. I'm pretty sure all of them are technically indie games, but the issue is that let's say something big happens and Ubisoft, starts losing money, they'll just release another Assassin's Creed and make $1 gazillion, and they'll be fine. This is what
Yeah.
it like, and this is why I'm concerned. Like they're too big to fail. They cannot fail, which is why
I mean,
I think the game that is either gonna make or break this entire thing, at least as far as single player is genuinely GTA 6. Because GTA 6 is, I think, is going to be the branching point where it's either going to be the next Witcher 3 or it's going to be day one Cyberpunk. And that is going to make or break this industry. Because if GTA 6 is a piece of shit and it still makes all the money in the world anyway, there is your perfect case study. Because there are, I'd argue, millions of people out there that are going to buy it just because it says GTA 6, and we will be able to look at that when it comes out, and from that we'll be able to get an accurate idea and accurate projection and representation of whether quality actually fucking matters anymore. because I'll be the one to say it, and I don't like being the one to say it, but if I've got to be the bad guy on this podcast today, I'll do it. Quality doesn't fucking matter anymore. The money's already spent. They've already made their millions. They can go and fuck each other in Barbados.
No, yeah.
I would
Can I ask you a
argue.
question?
What's up?
Just a real quick question.
Yeah.
How many people? I mean, out of the four of us, how many of us know what a bug is in software terms?
Me. I did coding.
I'm pretty sure all four of us could say
Yeah.
comfortably we know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be able to give you
Now,
an accurate
out
description.
of the-
Might be able to give you
Out of the
something, yeah.
75 billion people that are going to play GTA 6, how many of them know what a software bug is? Not even a quarter. I wouldn't even say 10%.
Yeah.
All right. For that
can do that.
reason, you're 100% right, CJ. The whole world's going to buy the game. And if your character is doing backflips 75 feet in the air and they're not supposed to be, guess what? They're still gonna play the game because it's GTA 6, man. This is people don't know when to see something and go, wait, that's not right, but we do because we are, technically adept people. It
Yep.
It's not really gonna change much, unfortunately. But with that being said, I highly doubt GTA 6 is gonna be a trash game. I can't think of the last time Rockstar did something like that, but it's just yeah. I mean, we have to consider the people, like the large, massive people who are buying these games. Like, number one, nostalgia is enough for most people to just pull the trigger anyway. Nostalgia, right? I mean, that right there is going to be at least 40% of the consumer base. So we can just go ahead and cut that out automatically, and then the rest is it's just it's up for discussion. But that's a tough one. That is a tough one.
I would argue, because I'm the bad guy of this podcast. I would argue, honestly, I think that the big studio should stick around. I genuinely think they need to do it. I think, and that's why I'm okay with the power shift being relatively slow, right? Because without the big studios, you're not going to get the big franchise games that mega fans want regularly. And sooner or later, once the power shift fully moves into kind of the quote unquote indie space, it will be good for the entire industry, especially because I think that majority of gamers prefer the free to play model anyways. And I think 90% of the time that we play games, it's the same game for hundreds and hundreds of hours. I think the majority of people who play these games also wait for a reliable source or a source that they trust to like come out and say something about it. I don't know how many people jumped the gun and bought Spider-Man 2 before reading up on it, for example. Game was sick, game's really good, but that's just kind of how I
didn't.
feel about it. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. Yep, I waited for Brian, our roommate, to finish the game, and I was like, "How is it?"
See,
How was it?
No.
that's
I'm
where
saying
I
that I didn't
disagree with
wait
you.
myself. It's like,
Oh, you didn't wait? Oh, yep.
no, I mean, it's Spider-Man, right? Nostalgia. There's the Before You Buy channel on YouTube, right? Which is a really, really popular channel.
Sure.
But if 20 million people buy Spider-Man, I mean, Before You Buy is only going to get what, like maybe 1 million views on it? What about the other 19 million? They didn't give a fuck because they wanted to play Spidey-Man and they wanted to swing around the goddamn city of New York. So there's only so much you can do as far as reach is concerned.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is like being realistic. The vast majority of people who play video games and do not watch or read reviews. Some of them might see one because they're sub to IGN, or they're sub to Before You Play, or they're sub to fucking Polygon, fucking piece of shit. Yeah, I'll say it. I'll say it. But we read reviews. I do it because I want to be informed on the industry, and I want to I feel like my thing on this podcast has kind of become.
That's how I find out games are coming out, is when people are reviewing them like giving their opinions about the game. That's the only way I know a game's coming out.
I don't think you really have that these days. Like I read a lot of this shit because I feel like my position on this podcast has kind of become I'm the guy with all the gaming news. And like sort of
Yeah,
throw it
and
out
I
there.
appreciate you greatly.
Yeah, so
I-
like, yeah, so like, I'm not. I'm the one reading all the articles and be like, right, here's all the big news. This guy got cancelled. This, that, the other, whatever. But a lot of people, they'll probably watch the gaming awards, or they'll watch Summer Games Fest, or they'll watch these different conventions and see these trailers and seeing all this stuff coming out. I mean, my fucking wish list has doubled from Summer Game Fest because of a lot of good games on there. I'll be real. But like a lot of people are just, they'll be playing the game. And this is like especially with your Assassin's Creeds, your Call of Duties, your Watch Dogs, your FIFAs, whatever. They advertise the next game in the game you're playing. That's how the majority of people hear about the next games coming out. If it's a brand new title, like realistically speaking, like it, people are gonna hear a bit from hearsay and things like that, but you're gonna see it because you're booting up Steam and it's on the front page. Oh, that looks cool. I'll buy that. They're not going to read these articles to see what's going on. They're seeing these big banners. They're basically seeing billboards across the internet, YouTube adverts on the stuff they're actually watching is probably more informative than the actual reviews, realistically. Because I've seen about 15 different adverts for Black Myth, but that's just because
Yeah.
I happen to not have my ad blocker on. But that's not giving me an opinion on the game. That's showing me the good bits of the game, and then people are like, "Oh, an advert for Star Wars. I'm gonna go buy that. Where do I have to go? Oh, I gotta go here. I've already sent them my money."
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, well, once again, my whole take is that I think that the big guns should stick around. I think they need to stick around just to have the difference.
I mean, yeah, they're. I
Uh,
mean, they're not going to go anywhere. And
yeah,
again, there's always if there's not a sense of balance, that's when things get out of hand. But now,
which is where we're at right now. Yeah,
exactly, because there wasn't a sense of balance, and now here comes indie games bringing the sense of balance. So that's partially why
What
we're
we wanted.
even headed in the right direction right
I
now.
am hopeful. Yeah, I mean, like we just regular the fact there are regular indie games that come out that are so good, so popular. You think like Hollow Knight, Celeste, Hades, Inscription,
Dead
just to like
Cells.
name a few. Dead Cell. Yeah, these are all just indie games that have come out and made an impact, and the impact's sick. And it just seems to be happening more and more, which is also good sign. And not every game has to be a hit. It just has to be good enough to shake everything up a little bit.
Open some eyes.
Yeah.
I agree. I like games. Do you guys like games?
No, I fucking hate games.
I try to.
I can't.
I really try to.
Nah, I hate video games. The fuck.
I'm
I can't
fucking
fucking stand
angry.
them.
I am literally. Ugh. All I want in life. I don't need another Star Wars game. All I want in life is to win my League of Legends matches. I'll be
So
dead.
is Declaration of War that one kind of like where you play as like a scavenger through like a mech kind of like huge post-apocalyptic tech war? Or is that am I thinking something else?
I can't confidently say. It gives me Metro vibes, you know? But the part that I like about it is that it's co-op and I can get freaked out with my friends. That's the part that I really like about it. I mean, like,
It's
there's
probably
like a
different
little
game then.
part. There's like a little scene where you're. It shows in the video where like there's like a big tall girl that looks like the girl from The Grudge, or the boy from The Grudge, the girl from The Grudge, and she's like walking towards you, and you're like, ah, shit, you know. That's kind of. It's kind of, but it also has this like Alan Wake color to it, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the game itself, like CJ said, is not necessarily the type of thing that I seek after and play a lot. However, I really love the message. Like the message that they're trying to deliver in that video had me like, fuck yeah. I might just play the game simply for the message that they're trying to deliver to the gaming industry. It's kind of
But
kinda
that's
how I
an
feel about it.
EA game? Question mark?
Yeah, for Forever Winter.
That's the bit that makes me a
Technical for
little
Winter.
hesitant is seeing
Yeah.
EA's name on it. And I'm not
Exactly.
bashing it before it comes
Exactly.
out.
Exactly. And so now you have to ask yourself, like, okay, so whoever's releasing this game, like, are you learning from your mistakes now? Is that where we are? I mean, I really hope you are. Because if so, then cool. We can be friends again. And that's
Yeah.
that's the thing that we have to also say as gamers. We gotta stop being shitheads and just somebody. This isn't a first impression scenario. We've known about EA for a very long time. We
Yep.
played EA games for a very long time. If it were a first impression, I can understand. This is not a first impression. Okay, so if someone there wakes the hell up, or someone gets fired who was making bad calls, and they bring in someone who's like, wait a minute, what are we doing? This is all wrong, and they start doing it right. We need to be ready to acknowledge that and stop, being gamers. No gamer
Rip
words.
Blizzard.
My only concern, and this is my only concern because again EA is on it, is it becomes another Helldivers 2 situation where it starts off really well and then they fuck it after like a couple of months.
Again, I like what I just said 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
We just, if they're doing their best to try to turn it around, acknowledge it. Right?
Yeah.
Like the whole like just stepping towards negativity just because of things that they have done in the past. It's like, okay, I can understand you might have your reservations, but let's just see. Like, what do
No, I am
let's just
open
see.
to it. I think the only thing it's my point of view, this is just how I am as a person. It's like, right, you gotta earn my fucking trust back. Right?
And it starts with that video.
Mhm.
Right? Because again, I mean, like 20 minutes ago, I called out EA for being the shit stains that they have been in the past too. Did I not? So I'm right there with you guys, but I'm also the kind of person that believes in redemption. We have to believe in redemption.
Yep.
You gotta.
I mean,
So if they can redeem themselves, then I'm all for it. Otherwise, I'm gonna do like I've been doing for the last 5, 6, 7 years and just not buy EA games. I haven't been buying EA games. What's the last EA game I bought?
Madden, 2003.
I was gonna play Anthem, but obvious reasons I didn't. Like I haven't bought a game in so long. So, but again, this video has got me thinking otherwise. Like, if you guys, as long as this isn't a trick and you guys are serious about this, I'm down.
Yeah.
Just please prove it. Prove it to me.
We'll see. 7 to 15 years, guys. See y'all then.
7 to 15.
Yeah.
well, we'll still
genuinely,
be-
I think it's sooner. I
we'll
think
still be angry about this. We'll still be talking about the same shit.
Over,
Sit here in
over,
circles.
over,
that's
like-
the
Except we'll
thing,
have
right?
K's and ARP accounts.
I mean, I don't think I understood.
I hope
it.
not.
I don't think I understood it at the time, but I've been talking about this shit since like 2013, bro. It's been a decade. I'm tired of this industry being shit.
Yeah.
And for me, it started with Mass Effect 3. And I love that game. I fucking adore that game. That's my
Ooh.
favorite in the trilogy.
Mass Effect.
Oh,
I mean,
bro,
it's been
I
bad
missed
for a while.
miss Mass Effect.
Whew.
Like, yeah, I think Dead Space is another. Dead Space 3 was another one where like EA specifically, and I hate that EA is the example, but I feel like they were the first to do it, and then everyone else was like, "Oh shit, we could get away with this." Rockstar's no better. Let's be real. The GTA Online is the most fucking heinous, aggressive, predatory microtransaction bullshit I've ever seen. Because every update requires you to have like $1 million, and for like 6 years, the best way to earn money was through the microtransactions. Luckily, in the last few years, they've kind of fixed up on that. But I feel like that's because they've already made their money. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
GTA Online has been a titan since release. I mean, we can
Yeah.
get mad about it, but goddamn, they made their money and they've released some pretty solid stuff. I mean, they had Dr. Dre in their game.
But
You know, like if you want to pay $50 for that, dude, like it's Dr. Dre. Come on, man. Like,
but
consumerism.
that's the
Consumerism.
thing. It's like, you know, if it was a one-time thing, fine. But for like a good few years, I'd say from 2016 through to 2019, like everything, the best way to play GTA, because of the way the grind was and because of the way the game was set out, the best way to play GTA was go get a second job. Genuinely.
Jesus
This is coming from someone
Get
who
your money,
went
Rockstar.
through it. Like,
Get your
that's
money,
the thing.
Rockstar.
Like, I remember reading an article in 2018 saying that Rockstar had made $1 billion from and that was from sales from like 2016 to 2018. The game had already been out.
Activision does that in like half a year too.
Yeah, it's this is why I'm so worried and so upset. Is because I know you could just throw a thing on, and it's not the majority of players. We need to acknowledge that it is the whales of the industry, 100%. But those whales are willing to sink thousands of dollars just to get the new supercar, which is why I think GTA 6 is going to be the make or break for this industry.
Yeah.
Oh God.
7-15. See you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, fucking. Oh.
I love you guys. I
It's
have
all-
to go.
It's all predictions at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's
I
right.
have to leave.
We got to wrap this up.
Episode 32, boys and girls. Throw your
Family
socials
needs
in
me.
chat. Let's see. If you haven't joined the Discord already, do so.
Rapmedia.com.
Boom. Let's see. The last tournament YouTube videos are up. Next tournament's going to be on Saturday. $200 prize pool. Pool, POOL. And we will see you guys there.
We have a new side quest
Can't
up on the
wait.
YouTube.
YouTube.com/crapmediaofficial.
Love you guys. Peace.
We'll see you next week for the tournament.
Exactly.
I gotta go pull baby out of the fire. See you guys.
Oh, God.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
I see through the light, no more disguise. The scenery's crashing down to let all the truth be found. Didn't belong, had to move on to somewhere that I could be. Open my eyes and see all of the beauty in front of me, giving back all the energy that I never felt before. Beyond the lights of society that would kill me quietly, now I found myself out of my head. My spirit's awake, I don't feel the same. So many people here, but somehow they disappear. 'Cause all that I tried